2 videos in one day? You're gonna tell me that he didn't take a month between videos? Stop the madness. C273 Introduction to Sociology. Now, if you've been following any of my videos, you would have noticed that this is probably the type of course that interests me, and you would be right. I actually really enjoyed this course. I'll hop into a little bit of the course material. Now, apart from the course, I didn't open the reading material whatsoever at all. This is the first class that an instructor, the second I registered for the course and started it, she actually called me on the phone. I didn't answer the phone, but she left me a voicemail. But I thought that was kind of weird, but also nice at the same time. But anyway, she also emailed me a long list of almost all the recorded cohorts. They have like 6 different overviews. They have, I think, like 6 or 7 different, like 18 to 40 minute recorded cohorts that go over a bunch of the key things. They have like a review one where they go over the things that people struggle with. So all that was really cool. You know, there's a real disparity between courses of some courses have a couple of cohorts that are really crappy, and some have a whole bunch that are really good. And this is luckily one of the ones that had a bunch that were really good. If you look online on like Reddit and stuff, a lot of people say use Crash Course Sociology. And I tried to do that because I figured I would take everybody's advice and go on YouTube and do Crash Course Sociology. But there's 44 videos. There's 44 of them. So and they're 10 minutes a piece, so I was like, okay, well, I can watch these like 6 to 10 recorded cohorts. That's going to take me a couple hours, or I can watch the 44. That's going to take me like 6 to 7 hours. And the thing is, too, and the reason I don't know if I necessarily agree with watching Crash Course, it's a really good series and it's really engaging, and the girl that does it, she's really good. But the thing of it is for one, there's too many of them, and for two, it's not specific to the course. It's specific to sociology, but you want to know exactly what they're going to be looking for. They're not going to be giving you information on the like OA that you take that is outside of what they teach you in the actual course. You know what I mean? So a lot of the things that I was actually noticing in that crash course, you don't necessarily need to know, but there's no easy way to decipher exactly which pieces you do need to know and which pieces you don't need to know. So I got like 10 videos into that crash course, and I was like, well, I'm just going to go watch the actual course-provided cohorts instead of wading through 44 different videos of Crash Course Sociology. But that's not a knock on that YouTube playlist. It's really good, and it goes into really good stuff, and it's engaging. But I think, personally, I think it would be a better idea to just watch what they have on the actual course. That way, you know you're reviewing all the things that you need to know rather than wasting time on a bunch of things you might not need to know. Now, I really hesitated to even say this part right here, but I think it's worth mentioning is that there is an obvious political bias in this course a little bit. I was very, I praised WGU because almost actually all the classes that I've taken so far haven't had really any political. You couldn't tell political affiliations within the course instructors, which is nice because we're just constantly bombarded with politics, and I'm so over it. But so it was nice to like either side of the aisle. Like I couldn't tell what any of my course instructors or any of the recorded cohorts what their political affiliations was. But with this course, honestly, you can kind of tell the political leanings of the people giving the cohorts. Which is fine. I like hearing everybody's opinion, but I just felt it is worth mentioning as there is an obvious tilt in this course a little bit. But it's fine. I don't mind listening to anybody's opinion, and like 99% of the stuff they said I agree with. But it's just something to be aware of for anybody, wherever you fall in the political spectrum is. Because I think sociology inherently is a little political, like the things you learn about, whether it be culture or counterculture or just, any of the theories. There's a bunch on here about Karl Marx. Wherever you fall on the spectrum, you have to accept that you're going to hear a little bit about the politics because that's kind of what sociology is. In a nutshell is, politics and culture kind of go hand in hand. So that's just my little spiel right there, and I didn't even want to mention it because anytime you ever mention politics, everybody balls up their fists and gets all angry, and and I didn't want that, and I don't want to be divisive whatsoever, as my political leanings fall somewhere in the middle, as I would say most people do. But that being said, I felt it was worthy of mentioning. Well, now that I just set the comment section on fire and lost all my subscribers, because people get very tribal when you mention the dreaded P word, let's move on to the actual course. A couple of the things that you really need to know for this course are all the founders, of sociology, or the innovators rather. There's 6 or 7 of them, and you need to know all of them and what their correlating theories are. That's very important to know. On the last cohort, on one of the resources, I want to say it's surviving. No, it's the one after that. Well, it's the last cohort they give you, but they give you a little, not acronym, but they go over a little chart of how to associate each person with each theory. So I wrote that down and was studying it before I took the OA. Another thing you want to know is the symbolic interactionist, the functionalist, and the last one, I can't remember what it is, but those 3 main tenets of sociology, I guess is what you'd call them. A lot of the questions are answered in the format of how does this correlate to functionalists, or how does this correlate to symbolic interactionalists? Well, I can't remember what the last one is. Is it conflict? I don't know. I can't remember. But you'll know it when you see it. There's 3 things, and a lot of the questions they ask you are asked through the lens of how does symbolic interactionalists look at this. So they ask questions about healthcare, and they ask a lot of questions about inequality, and a lot of them seemed like they were kind of common sense type things, you might be able to navigate your way around a lot of the questions by just answering what makes the most sense, But all I did was watch those cohorts, took the PA, passed it, scheduled the OA for a couple hours later, and passed it. And I passed it pretty well too. Do the OA and PA align? Kinda. They align in theories, and main topics, but as far as are the questions similar? Not really. I was actually kind of worried at the end of the OA that I wasn't going to pass it, but I ended up doing pretty well. So all in all, not a bad course. It was actually a pretty enjoyable course. I like learning about different perspectives and theories and stuff. But so the course should really only take you, anywhere from, if you have a large chunk of time, 3 days. If you don't, maybe a week or 2. But it shouldn't take you too long. Watch the cohorts, study the different perspectives, study the different cultures and subcultures, countercultures, things like that. Study the inequalities and social change aspects. And it shouldn't take you too long. You can run through this course pretty quick. But that's all I have. Sorry if I pissed anybody off with the politics talk, but I just felt like it was worthy of mentioning. But that's all I have, and moving on to the next one. So I'll see you guys here soon.